How do Amazons reproduce?
Before we begin, we publish new videos every week, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
This topic has surely become a debatable one due to its uncertainty. Even in comics, animated TV series, and in movies, creators sometimes cite different opinions in Amazon's reproduction. I have to say that some parts of this information are extracted from the complete article written on Amazon's history on aminoapps.com. So after going through most of the ancient Amazonian scripts, I present to you the complete and untold story of the Amazons' way. Creation of the Amazons. In 1300 BC, goddesses desired to create a race of humans that would champion their ideals. Zeus, in his arrogance, decreed that mankind would never forget the gods, and that it did not matter if there were champions or not. Ares, being the god of war, did not desire anyone promoting peace. The other male gods didn't seem interested, and Hera did not wish to go against her husband. Therefore, it fell onto the other 5 primary Greek goddesses: Artemis, Athena, Hestia, Demeter, and Aphrodite. Traveling into the underworld, the goddess came to the Well of Souls, the place where the souls of all the women murdered by man's hatred were gathered. They drew forth these souls, dropping them like great tears into a lake in Greece. All except one, a very special soul. The souls mixed with the clay and stone of the lake bed to form the Amazons, women reborn. Each of the goddesses then blessed the Amazon nation with gifts: hunting skills, Artemis; wisdom, Athena; warm homes, Hestia; plentiful harvests, Demeter; and beauty inside and out, Aphrodite. The Amazons eventually founded the city of Themyscira in Anatolia and became known as fierce warriors of peace. Amazon history. In the story, Hippolyta and the Amazons once resided in Amazonia in the days of ancient Greece, until they were beguiled and bested by the demigod Hercules, who had been inspired by the god of war Mars to go after her. She was able to beat him thanks to the magic girdle. But he seduced her and tricked her into removing the girdle, allowing him to steal it. This caused the Amazons to lose their super strength and the favor of their patron goddess, Aphrodite. They were all enslaved for a long time after this. Eventually, she and the other Amazons were forgiven and were able to break free and slay their captors. From then on, they had to wear bracelets to remind them of the folly of submitting to men.
But my people, Hera, they have lost so much. Our men, our homes, and now our chance for retribution.
To regain their status, the Amazons were decreed to leave the mortal world and relocate to Paradise Island. There they established their own society, free from the evils of man's world. So long as they remained there and Hippolyta retained possession of her magic girdle, the Amazons would be immortal. As the years went by, more and more they remained isolated in their city. Their numbers increased by freeing women from slavery and a few other dark acts. Which gets me into the next piece of history: how the Amazons grew. Take the young girls and women, usually the slaves of nobles, many of them concubines from other countries. To reproduce and keep the Amazon race alive, the Amazonians would raid ships on the high seas and copulate with men. In some cases, the men would be forced on. In other cases, many of the men were willing to accept strange, naked, beautiful women boarding their ship, as they have been at sea for so long. At the end of the mating, they take their lives and throw their corpses into the sea rather than marry them. Triumphant, the Amazons return to their tribes and wait. 9 months later, some celebrate the birth of a daughter, some don't. Compassionate of the fate of the boys, the Greek god Hephaestus made an agreement with the Amazons. he would trade weapons made by him for those called failures, the sons of Themyscira. If they gave birth to boys, they would give them to the male gods as slaves or servants. In some cases, it didn't seem like the women wanted their children to be taken from them. It appeared to be a ritual that was done every 30 years for a period of time. Some of the women may have wanted to keep their baby despite knowing that it was going to be a boy, but it wasn't allowed. At least Hephaestus didn't allow them to be killed. It goes to show the Amazons are still closed-minded and not as peaceful as they lead one to believe. The 23-year-old Diana is completely unaware of this custom since it took place before they came to the island and way before she was born. It's also likely that this ignorance extends to her entire generation since they all grew up together. Hippolyta goes against this tradition. All the same, when Diana beat the Hephaestus, thinking he was too wrong for taking the boys to be servants, all of the boys turned against her, claiming the man to be like a father, stating that at least he wanted them. Hippolyta's background. The most recent retcon of Wonder Woman and the Amazons depicts the Amazons as reincarnation of women who were killed unjustly by men. The goddesses pulled the spirits of the women from the Well of Souls and gave them new bodies made from the earth. Hippolyta is the queen of the Amazons of Themyscira. She is the sister of Antiope and the mother of Wonder Woman. Hippolyta's history begins tens of thousands of years ago. In ancient times, there was a caveman who, embittered over being maimed by a tiger and driven from his tribe, encountered a woman in a cave and brutally murdered her after she offered him some compassion. The first woman murdered by a man's hatred. Hippolyta was the reincarnation of the first woman who had been murdered, and that woman was pregnant with a daughter. Diana's background. Hippolyta wanted nothing more than to just have a daughter. That was what she longed for, as that was what her reincarnation had lost. So the gods decided to grant her wish, but also give her what all of the women on the island requested. Something that could help them protect them from any more attacks from many of the vengeful and evil gods. Therefore, she was given all in one. For the longest time, Hippolyta tried to keep Diana from fighting completely, trying to teach her how to perhaps become a scholar or just lead the island, rather than be the weapon she was originally created for. Apart from this major story, we come across in the movie Wonder Woman, released in 2009, where Hippolyta molded a baby from the sand and clay of the island. In the Justice League animated series, it's depicted that although at first Diana believed that she was born in the above way, Hippolyta later reveals that her true father is Hades, god of the underworld. Diana was born as the fruit of Hades and Hippolyta's love.
Your mother and I sculpted you together.
So, do you agree with the above facts? Your comments are highly welcome. Please comment what type of videos you'd like to see next from our channel, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to make it grow bigger and better. Thanks for watching!